Hi everyone, I'm back for another Choose Your Own Adventure book as usual at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. This time I'm going to be reading the Antimatter Formula by Jay Leibold. It's number 57 in the Choose Your Own Adventure series, and it's illustrated by Frank Boal, if I'm pronouncing that right. Right, and so here's a better review of the cover art. And some people mentioned earlier it does kind of look like something from Dune, like we're going to be going to Arrakis or something. Hey, Stephanie. Alright. Get back to Earth while you still can. Your parents have invented the antimatter device, an instrument powerful enough to rupture the boundaries of time and space. Rival scientist Dr. Fingley has stolen it and accidentally plunged you into another world. Now you're trapped with him on a deserted planet. Your only hope of return is the antimatter device, but the evil doctor will stop at nothing to keep you away from it. If you try to escape with the device, turn to page 10. If you decide to give in and let Dr. Fingley have it, turn to page 11. Watch out! You and Dr. Fingley aren't the only ones who want the valuable device. You could be trapped by a KGB agent, oh no, not KGB agents, or transported to a planet run by lizards, or you could use the antimatter device to save Earth from destruction. What happens next in the story? It all depends on the choices you make. How does the story end? Only you can find out. And the best part is that you can keep reading and rereading till you've had not one, but many incredibly daring adventures. Oh, Dr. Fingley. Oh, the new 4K of Dune today? Is this the Dune, the 80s Dune with Sting? And, what's that guy's name that's, like, eluding me at the moment? Oh. Twin Peaks? The Twin Peaks guy? No, not remember. Yeah. Well, not just him, but the guy who plays
Agent Cooper.
Agent Cooper.
I can't remember his name either. I would have if I didn't go in the wrong direction.
Yeah. All right. And usual, we have the same reviews from the same four kids. Kids can't stop reading the Choose Your Own Adventure series stories, something like that. David Lynch. Yeah, Kyle MacLachlan. Thank you, Rob.
Oh my gosh.
How can we not remember his name? That's sad. All right, The Antimatter Formula by Jay Leibold. Illustrated by Frank Boal. I said that earlier. There's some star charts, I guess. Literally charts. All right. What's that say? Realm of reality. I feel like we're like not in the realm of reality anymore this past year and a half. Some like alternate reality. Alternate facts. Okay. This is, by the way, these are all for age 10 and up, just so, in case anyone's watching that's under 10. I should probably stop listening to this now. Our brains were in the Black Lodge. Yeah, probably. Reality. It was, yep. Original conception by Edward Packard. And this was originally released June 1986. Alright, let's get on to this. Oh, here we go. Warning. Do not read this book straight through from beginning to end. These pages contain many different adventures you can have as you try to unravel the mystery of the strange world in which you wake up. As you read along, you will be able to make choices. Your choices will determine whether or not you succeed in solving the mystery. Many unusual people, creatures, and worlds may help or hinder you in your quest. You are responsible for your fate because you make the decisions. After you make a choice, follow the instructions to find out what happens next. Be careful. It will take ingenuity and resourcefulness to resolve your dilemma. Good luck. And here's a special warning. In the course of your adventures, you may come into contact with parallel worlds. There are many worlds in the universe, perhaps an infinite number. Parallel worlds exist side by side, but are sealed off from one another. Each is woven of its own unique fabric of space and time. Some worlds have had an evolution history very much like our own, and may seem just like ours. Others have evolved very differently, and may be home to all kinds of odd creatures and ideas. So we should probably avoid those worlds. Or not. Okay. You wake up one morning and sense that something is wrong. An odd quiet has settled on the house. You sit up. Everything in your room looks the same as usual. Still, you can't shake the feeling that you've woken up in a different place, as if you've been traveling and for a moment can't remember where you are. You get up and look out your window. The street is empty, but that's not unusual. You get dressed and brush your hair in the mirror. You look the same as always. Your footsteps seem unnaturally loud in the hallway and on the stairs. It makes you feel as if it's early on Sunday morning, except you know it is a Wednesday morning in June in Berkeley, California. It's very specific. You're on summer vacation, and today is your day off from your summer job. Your parents, who are physicists at the university lab, probably already left for work. You stop for a moment at the bottom of the stairs. The only sound is the ticking of the living room clock, keeping the beat of the silence. It's the first time you think you've ever heard silence. Wow, that's pretty deep. It's like the sound of one hand clapping. Oh yeah, we probably are psychic in this one too. Odd creatures and what kinds of odd creatures and ideas will we find? So turn to page 4. Telling yourself your imagination is getting out of hand, you sit down to eat breakfast. Everything is set out as usual on the kitchen table. Well, your parents set everything out for you every morning when you get up? That's nice. After breakfast, you go outside and walk down the block. You see no one. You walk up to Telegraph Avenue, which is usually busy with morning traffic. It is empty. You call out, "Hello!" The sound of your voice startles you. A few birds sing in the trees, but there are no human sounds. You go back to the house and try to control your feeling of panic. The ticking of the living room clock becomes oppressive. You go out to the garage. The car is still there, but your parents' bikes are gone. They must have taken them to the lab, you tell yourself. Yeah, that's it. They just went to the lab and then everyone else is gone too. That makes sense. Looking at the car, you get an idea. If no one is around, maybe you should take it out and explore the city. Your uncle taught you how to drive on his farm, so you think you can handle a car. It might be a good time to take it for a drive. On the other hand, maybe you should call your parents at the lab. Hey, Sue. Yeah, they invented an antimatter device, right? If you decide to take the car out for a drive, turn to page 108. If you call your parents at the lab, turn to page 2. And here we are calling out. See if anyone's around. Excuse me. Why would this be a good time to learn how to drive a car? I guess because the streets are empty, so you don't have to worry about really crashing into anybody, I guess. Alright, so does anybody think we should take the car out for a spin? Call our parents. Okay. We can do that. Anyone else think we should call the parents? Let's go. Sure, let's call the parents. Page 2. You dial your parents' number at the lab, but they don't answer. No one does. You put down the phone and tell yourself, there must be a simple explanation for this. You know that your parents are involved in antimatter research, and you've wondered what they meant when they talked about the delicate boundaries between parallel worlds. It sounded as if they thought they could use antimatter to travel between parallel worlds. But when you asked questions, they said they couldn't tell you any more about it. They had not even told the university or the government about it. Wondering if their research is connected with the strange emptiness around you, you decide to go to the lab. You get your bike and ride through the deserted streets. When you reach the lab, everything looks normal. Cars in the parking lot, bicycles on the rack, trees, grass, but there are no people. Go on to the next page. The main door is unlocked, and inside, the lights are on. You walk through the empty halls and up the staircase of the 3rd floor. The door to your parents' lab is open. As usual, equipment is spread all over the counters and on the floor. But in one corner of the lab, you notice that some of the equipment has been knocked over, as if there was a struggle. And sitting on the counter is something you've never seen there before, a television. It is one of the new, small, wafer-thin types. You think it must be connected to your parents' research. Suddenly, you freeze. There are footsteps in the hall. You listen for a moment. The footsteps are coming closer. If you wait and see who it is, turn to page 9. If you decide to take the TV and hide in a closet, don't know why we'd take the TV, but okay. Turn to page 38. All right. Does anyone think we should wait and see who it is? Take the wafer TV. Okay. Yeah, like we didn't. When did we have wafer thin TVs in the 80s? I guess they probably weren't literally wafer thin. TV. Hey Beth. Take the TV. Take the wafer TV. Yeah, I think we want to take the TV with us and hide in the closet. Page 38. Moving very quietly, you grab the TV and slip into one of the storage closets against the wall. Then you hold your breath and listen. The footsteps come closer and closer. They come into the lab. "My device!" a man cries out. "Where's my device?" The voice seems vaguely familiar, but you can't quite place it. You hear the man run out of the room and down the hall. Cautiously, you come out of the closet. You set the TV on the counter and decide to turn it on. Maybe there will be some news about what is going on. The picture materializes after a moment. At first, you don't realize what it is on the screen, but then it sinks in. You are looking at yourself, in the lab, looking at the TV. You jump back with a gasp. The person on TV jumps back too. What? If you change the channel, turn to page 46. If you turn off the TV, turn to page 51. Should we change the channel? Well, Valerie says we should change the channel. Or should we turn the TV off? Change the channel? Alright, that's 2 votes for change the channel. I think we should. Why would we turn it off? Or Stephanie says we should turn off the TV. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is giving me like those slider vibes, like the show Sliders. Same time, different dimensions. Alright, I guess we'll change the channel. What? A giant green lizard appears on the screen. It's a huge, scaly thing with horrible eyes. It has cornered 3 tiny creatures in chainmail against some rocks. The 3 cower behind their shields as the lizard advances on them. Spears stick out of the lizard's back like toothpicks. You are so absorbed by this picture that you don't notice you are no longer in your parents' lab. But when the lizard opens its mouth and lets out a roar, you suddenly realize it's real. You jump to your feet and turn around. Before your eyes is the scene on TV. On the ground beside you is a spiked ball and chain. Without thinking, you pick it up, whirl it over your head, and fling it at the lizard. The ball flies through the air and makes a direct hit on the lizard's neck. Green blood spurts out. The lizard roars in pain, rears back, and turns to face the new threat. Now, it advances on you with great crashing steps, its jaws dripping. Desperately you look around. No more weapons. You turn, trip, and fall to the ground. The lizard's breath is hot on your neck. Of course, it's a giant lizard. Let's turn the TV off. Oh, too late. I love that giant lizard show. If you get up and run, turn to page 54. If you scramble to the TV and try to change the channel, turn to page 42. Oh, there's the wafer thin. Here we are with the lizard and the wafer thin TV. That lizard breath. So we should change the channel or try to run. And sometimes I forget that there's a few, like a delay of maybe 5 seconds or so before what I'm saying actually appears on the channel. So change the channel. Yeah, I think we should change the channel. Page 42. Your hand reaches the channel switch just as the lizard's claw is about to come down. You find yourself on the ground, covered with dust, next to the TV. Behind you is someone clapping and yelling, "Bravo!" You turn and see a short man with thick limbs, jumping up and down and clapping. His blue eyes flash brightly as he leans down and exclaims, "Very good! Much better than when you were in the laboratory with no one else around. That was boring." You sit up and look at this strange man. He grabs your hand and pumps it. My name is Luther. How do you do?" You point to the TV and ask, "Did that bring me here?" "Of course," Luther says. "That's how you switch between worlds." "You mean between parallel worlds?" "Of course. What else would you use it for?" "Well, where I come from," you explain, "we sit in our living rooms and watch TV. We don't participate in it." "How bizarre. You just sit and watch?" "Yes, it's, entertainment." "But how can that entertain you? How boring." Go on to the next page. You think about that for a minute, then point at the TV and ask, "How does it work? How does it switch you between worlds?" "How does it work? I don't know." "We don't know how anything works, and we don't care. Now let's go somewhere else." You watch as Luther leans down and turns the channel. Anyone named Luther kind of, I don't know. Don't know if I can trust him. Yeah, silly consumers don't know how to do anything. Just sit and watch TV. 36. You find yourself looking at the screen rather than around you to see where you are. You are in a dark passageway with a stone door in front of you. Suddenly the door opens. A little man with a big nose and pointed ears runs out, grabs the TV, and scampers behind the door, laughing. The door shuts with a bang that rings in your ears. "Hey," you say. You look at Luther. "What's going on here?" You try the door, but it won't budge. Luther shrugs. "Beats me." It's Martin Luther and not Lex Luthor. I guess that's better. Martin Luther, isn't that the guy that nailed a bunch of things to a door? Some theses or something like that? Because I know someone made a joke out of that once where they nailed Reese's peanut butter. Like Reese's what you call those things that E.T. used? Reese's Pieces. That's it. Page 52. That's the guy. Yep. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, the descriptions of the people are always short and fat and big noses. Alright. At that moment, a glowing orange spider descends from the rock above on an orange thread. The spider stops in front of your eyes and says, in a small voice, I can tell you how to open the door. How? You ask eagerly. First you must bring me a prize, the spider says. You must bring me the spoon of the Ogle-Maruth. What is the Ogle-Maruth? You ask Luther. I don't know exactly, Luther says, but I've heard he's awful. The Ogle-Maruth, the spider exclaims, lives in a faraway valley, and with his spoon eats his favorite food, spider eggs. Once you get his spoon from him, he will no longer eat spider eggs. But, you object, he can just eat them with something else. Oh no, the spider says. He's very finicky. He wouldn't use another spoon, at least not for a very long time. Now, will you carry out my quest? Request? Well, it's also a quest, too, so it's a request and a quest. But here's the spider. Oh, the spider's actually, got its spider legs around us, okay. Becoming very familiar. There we go. And there's the guy that's with us. He looks a little weird. The spoon of the Ogle-Maruth. You will not be surprised. That was your band in college? Really? Wow. That's cool, Stephanie. That should be a band name. That's pretty reasonable. Just find the spoon. It's not that tough, right? If you agree to the spider's request, turn to page 48. If you decide you have no time for it, turn to page 66. He requests that we quest. It kind of does remind me of quests where they'll say, hey, do you want to go on this quest? And you can agree to go on the quest, or you can be like, no, I don't have time for it right now. I always accept all the quests because there's usually not a time limit. You can just say, yeah, sure, and then you just add it to your quest list or something, and then just do it later. Yeah, I would say they. Well, you know what? They're really worried about their spider eggs, so maybe it's a she. But I mean, I guess that he could be worried about the spider eggs too. Well, this is a species of spider where the female eats the male. You know, do the quest. All right. Yeah, we should do the quest, right? We agree. Page 48. Okay, you tell the spider. We'll get the spoon of the Ogle-Maruth if you promise to get us in that door. I promise, the spider says. Now how do we find this Ogle-Maruth, you ask? First you have to get out of the cavern, the spider says. Go down the passageway behind you. Take 3 steps, then a right. You will come to a bucket at the bottom of a well. Pull on the bucket, and someone will haul you up. Luther repeats the instructions as the spider spins back up out of sight. You and Luther feel your way along the dark passage, taking 3 lefts and a right, and come to a place where a sliver of light filters into the cave. The bucket is there. You pull the rope. Far above, a bell rings. Who is it? A voice calls down the well. The orange spider sent us, you shout back. Get in the bucket, the voice instructs. After you and Luther are hauled up in the bucket, you climb out and find yourself in a green clearing beside a cottage. My name is Sandina, a voice says. What is your business here? You turn to face a woman with long black hair and bright orange eyes. She wears a black tunic decorated with odd symbols. We're looking for the Ogle-Maruth, you say. We're supposed to bring back his spoon. Go on to the next page. Sandina laughs. That spider must have put you up to this. He's always trying to get people to steal the Ogle-Maruth spoon, but no one has succeeded. The Ogle-Maruth is a nasty creature, and he doesn't care about anything but eating. He sleeps with the spoon under his pillow. What makes you think you can get it from him? We have to, Luther says, or we'll be stuck in this world forever. Here we are, there's a spoon. Oh, and it's got a spider on the handle, that's cool. Bright orange eyes, that would be a little scary. Could be a very concerned spider dad. Yeah, it could be. Spider dad's very worried about, their children, their spider children, spiderlings. All right, so page 45. Very well, says Sandina. I will take you, but if the Olgamuruth catches you, he'll eat you. You and Luther set off with Sandina to find the Olgamuruth. She leads you over a high rocky mountain pass, which descends toward a deep, seemingly bottomless valley. The three of you stop for a rest on the way down into the valley. 4 times a year, Sandina explains, the Olgamuruth comes over this pass to gather spider eggs. He lives in a shack at the bottom of this valley, but we must wait a while before we continue. Every afternoon the Olgamuruth takes a nap, and this is the only time you have any hope of getting his spoon. Turn to page 50. While you are talking, Luther wanders over to a rocky outcropping. Hey, come here, he calls. You and Sandina walk over to where Luther is kicking apart a mound of dirt. He extracts something from it. It's a spoon, he says. Sandina takes it. It looks just like the one the Olgamuruth uses. There are mounds all over the place, you say. It must be a kind of spoon graveyard, Sandina suggests, where he buries all the spoons he's rejected. Hey, Luther says, why don't we just take this spoon back to the spider? He won't be able to tell the difference. Then we won't have to risk our lives with the Olgamuruth. I don't know, Sandina cautions. It's true your chances of getting the real spoon aren't very good, but this might be an easy way out. But it might backfire on you. If you agree with Luther's plan, turn to page 33. If you decide that you must get the real spoon, turn to page 70. Yeah, the point is like in stopping the bad guy from eating the babies, not like getting a spoon. Like if we bring back a fake spoon, and if we don't bring back the right spoon, even if it convinces them temporarily, when the Olgamuruth is still eating the spider babies, then they'll realize that we gave them a fake spoon. So yeah, I think everyone agrees we should do the real spoon. That would be rude, yeah, why wouldn't we do the real spoon? Alright, page 70. Sorry, Luther. Well, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. We'd better get the real spoon, you say to Luther. After all, that's what we said we'd do. Sandina says it's time to go down into the valley. The three of you descend into the thick forest on a narrow, winding trail. An ominous silence surrounds you. The Olgamuruth's shack appears through the trees beside a swamp. You creep up to a window. Inside you see the Olgamuruth, an enormous troll-like creature with curly blonde hair, blue eyes, and an upturned nose. He is spooning spider eggs from a bowl onto a piece of toast. His meal is accompanied by disgusting slurping noises. He's kind of pretty for an Olgamuruth, Luther comments. Pretty on the outside, Sandina says, but nasty on the inside. Sandina leads you away from the window. He'll take his nap as soon as he's done eating, she whispers. And there's the Olgamuruth eating. Pretty on the outside, but nasty on the inside, I guess. You say so. And there we are, peeking through the window. That's like one of the weirdest Choose Your Own Adventure pictures I've ever seen. That picture is gross. I know. Nasty. Yeah, I think the person went overboard with this drawing. Page 60. Soon the slurping noises stop, and you hear a loud belch. There is movement in the shack. Then the unmistakable sound of snoring. Let's go, you say. Luther and Sandina follow you to the door. You open it slowly, slip into the shack, and tiptoe through the kitchen to a little back room where the Olgamuruth is snoring on his cot. Very quietly, you move to the cot and slip your hand underneath the pillow. But the Olgamuruth's head is heavy. There is no way you can get your hand under there. Somehow you will have to get the Ogamarooth off his pillow so you can reach the spoon. If you think you should look for some rope in order to tie up the Ogamarooth, turn to page 72. If you decide to create a diversion in order to get the Ogamarooth off the cot, turn to page 55. Let's see, so should we look for some rope to tie up the Ogamarooth, or should we create a diversion? I don't know what kind of diversion we would set up, but okay, think of something. And then where would we find rope? I don't know. Like it didn't mention there being any rope anywhere. Both options seem a little iffy, so I have no idea. Diversion. That says diversion. Sue says rope. Yeah, diversions, those always work. They do work pretty often. I don't even know like a rope would hold them. I mean, who knows? Yeah, I think we'll do the diversion. You tiptoe back to the door where Luther and Sandina are waiting. You all go outside so you can talk. I can't get the spoon, you whisper. We've got to get the Ogamarooth off his pillow somehow. How about if you two make some noise outside his window? I'll hide under the cot, and when he chases after you, I'll grab the spoon. It sounds dangerous, Sandina says, but we can try it. When the Ogamarooth comes after us, we'll take another path that circles back up the mountain. You take the one we came on. Run like mad when you get the spoon. You slip inside the shack and carefully slide underneath the Ogamarooth's cot. Sandina and Luther start yelling, taunting the Ogamarooth to come get them. The Ogamarooth jumps off the cot in a surprised frenzy and stomps out the door. You reach up, grab the spoon from under the pillow, and take off. But as soon as you come out the door, you see the Ogamarooth turning back. He hasn't fallen for your trick. When he sees you run out the door, he turns around and comes after you. Uh-oh. Turn to page 61. You race up the trail, but soon you realize that the Ogamarooth is faster than you and will catch you if you stay on the trail. Desperate, you plunge into the woods, hoping to lose him in the dense tangle of undergrowth. You don't pay much attention to where you are going as you dodge bushes and branches and jump over fallen logs. Suddenly you find yourself at the edge of a precipice. Below is a deep gorge. The Ogamarooth is not far behind you. Several vines hang from the trees at the edge of the gorge. Should you try to swing across on one of them? Or should you climb a tree and hope the Ogamarooth runs past you? So if you want to swing across on the vine, turn to page 16. If you want to climb the tree, turn to page 44. So should we swing across on one of those vines to get away from the Ogamarooth, or should we climb one of the trees? Swing? Valerie and Beth say we should swing. Okay. Anyone else think we should swing? Swing. Okay, I guess we will swing. Sue says we should also swing. Oh. You grab a vine and pause to look into the gorge before you swing across. It's a long way down. The sound of the Ogamarooth close behind gets you moving. You grip the vine, take a run, and swing out over the gorge. About halfway across, the vine breaks and you plunge, screaming, into the depths. Oh no! Oh, that didn't turn out so well. Yikes. Well, how could we have known that was going to happen? Oh. Joseph's on the couch getting some pets. Oh no, bad ending. Yeah, that was a pretty bad ending. Alright, I guess we'll climb the tree. Excuse me. Quickly you scramble up a moss-laden tree and try to stay hidden on a branch that hangs out over the gorge. The Ogamruth comes panting after you, blindly smashing his way through the underbrush. He doesn't see you or the gorge. He steps right over the edge, and with a terrible scream, falls to the bottom. You pause for a moment to consider the Ogamruth's fate. Then you come down from the tree and head back to the trail. Sandina and Luther are waiting for you behind a rock on the mountainside. "Thank goodness you're all right," Luther says. "We were beginning to get worried." You tell them about the Ogamruth's death, and the three of you hike over the pass and back to the well. Sandina congratulates you and Luther on your success, then lowers you down the well. The orange spider is amazed when you present him with the spoon. "I didn't think it was possible," he says. "Nevertheless, I'm very pleased. Now I suppose I should keep my half of the bargain. The little man who has your TV is called Malgernopf. You'll find a doorbell there in the stone to the right of his door. The button is exactly where the spider says it is. You press it and wait to confront Malgernopf." Turn to page 64. "Give us back our wafer-thin TV." The door swings open, and sitting in an easy chair, watching her TV, is the little man with pointed ears. He looks up as you enter. "Very good," Malgernopf says cordially. "You certainly outwitted the old Ogamruth. Thoroughly enjoyable. Come in, please, have a seat." The little man's voice is so full of warmth that you forget your anger at him. Instead, you accept a cup of tea and eat a few ginger cookies. "Now that you've entertained me," he says, "what can I do for you? You can give me back my TV, you say, and you can tell me how to return to the world I came from." And here's Malgernopf. Just hanging out, having a good time, not bothering anybody. Yeah, we did save the spiders at least. I mean, with that bad ending. Malgernopf furrows his brow. I'm not sure exactly how to accomplish that. But," he says, taking his toolbox down from a shelf, "I'll have a look inside there and see what I can do." Malgernopf takes the back off the TV and pokes around for a while. "I think I've got it," he announces. You come closer for a look. He is holding a wire in each hand. "When you touch these wires together, you should be transported back to the world from which this machine originated. At least, as far as I can tell." You take the two wires in your fingers and say goodbye to Malgernopf, then to Luther. "I'll miss you." "I'll miss you too," Luther says. For the first time, he looks sad. You move away from Malgernopf and Luther, then touch the wires together. Sparks fly, and you are knocked backward. When you sit up, you are on the floor of your parents' lab, the open TV in front of you. You leave it right where it is and run to find your parents. Are we going to miss him? I don't know. Are we going to miss Luther? We're going to miss Luther. Are we going to miss Malgernopf? So, but we still didn't explain like why all the streets were deserted and no one was around. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Oh, okay. So I have to drink some water. Yeah, let's try. You want to try driving the TV? Driving the car this time? I'm going to drive the TV. See how we can do that. All right. So we decided to take the car out for a drive. I wanted to drive the TV. Yeah, maybe next time. That's in the next book. So we're going to drive the car to look for our parents. All right, we're going to drive the car and explore the city. That's it. And I'm not even going to bother looking for our parents or calling them. Who cares? You find the spare set of keys, go out to the garage, and start up the car. As you back down the driveway and turn onto the street, you feel a small tingle of excitement. It's the first time you've driven a car in the city. Realize that if it's true that you are the only one left in the world, you can go wherever you want and do whatever you want. Driving through the empty streets, you see no one. Occasionally you spot a dog or cat crossing the street, but no people. However, stores, offices, and the houses are still here, their doors open. It occurs to you that you have all the material goods of civilization at your disposal, as if they were made just for you. You find yourself wondering if you should just enjoy all of these things and live the good life while you can. Maybe the world is your oyster. If you decide that the world is your oyster, turn to page 81. If you decide to look around some more with the hope of finding people, turn to page 102. I mean, can you decide that the world is your oyster and also look around to find other people? I mean, why does it have to be like an either-or proposition? Alright, so do we think the world is our oyster? Or do we want to try to find other people? The world is always our oyster. Yes. True. Agreed. Look for people. Oysters. Actually, wow, this is making me hungry for oysters. Wish we actually had some oysters. Anyone else think we should look for people, or anyone else think we should? I was gonna say look for oysters. The entire world is one big oyster now. Yeah, we should probably look for people though, right? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna decide that the world is our oyster and just see what happens. People. Oh, so Sue says we should look for people. Gotta find the pearls. It's kind of a 50-50. Well, we'll try seeing what happens if the world is our oyster first. You decide to live the good life. Why worry about where everyone else is, you think, when you could satisfy your every material desire? You settle down in the largest mansion you can find. It has a swimming pool, a tennis court, a croquet green, and a bowling alley. The horses are still in the stable, and the Rolls Royces are in the garage. Every room in the mansion is your room. Occasionally you make forays into the city to pick up supplies. You could have almost any kind of food, and you try everything. You listen to every record you've ever wanted, watch every movie on videocassette, and read every book on the shelves. You have no responsibilities. You don't have to work. If you don't feel like doing the dishes, you can just throw them away. One day, eating breakfast on the veranda, you look up from your plate and ask yourself, are you happy with your life at the mansion? Or, if you are dissatisfied, do you want to travel? Stop here. Best ending. Playing tennis by yourself. Move on to a tennis video game, maybe. If you want to stay at the mansion, turn to page 112. If you want to leave, turn to page 92. Just wait till we find out that the video cassettes actually deteriorate over time, and in 5 years they'll look terrible. After we play them enough, they'll be all faded. Records and video cassettes? Obviously we're in a mansion. Yeah. I mean, that was cutting edge technology. Video cassettes. Stay forever? Stay? Stay in the mansion. Okay. Stay in the mansion. Life at the mansion suits you fine. You have everything you could ever want. Nothing unpleasant gets in the way. As your life goes on, your tastes become simpler and simpler. You visit the empty shell of civilization below less and less often. In your later days, you end up spending all your time by the pool, eating frozen pizzas, drinking root beer, and reading old pogo books. Okay, the end. In your later days, what, when you're 18? That's a good ending. Drinking all the root beer. I see nothing wrong with this. Yeah, yeah, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. Like, if everyone's gone, then what are you supposed to do? But really, is everyone gone? That's also a good ending. I agree, Beth. Yeah, it's not bad. We get killed. Where were we when we, Let's see. So we went for a drive. Just wonder what would happen if you go looking for other people. Alright, so let's try to see if we can find other people instead of deciding that the world is our oyster. Yeah, root beer. Did they have alcoholic root beer? Like, it's root beer, but it's alcoholic too? I've never seen anything like that. Like, they have all these, they have everything else. Why not? What are we drinking? Root beer. I guess we were drinking root beer. Yeah, yeah, the person writing this, who would be doing the agriculture? Who would be making the food that we're eating? I was actually just reading an article, I think it was on BBC just before I started reading this, about how long different types of food last. And it was talking about, there was like this one, the one McDonald's that they had in Iceland. When it went out of business, they took like one of the hamburgers from that McDonald's in Iceland and they put it in like a glass case or something. And it still looks a bit shriveled up, but it looks like it doesn't look like it's like deteriorated or anything, which is kind of scary. Hard root beer exists. One called Not Your Father's Root Beer. I'll have to try that one of these days. Anyways, yeah, so we are going to try to look for some people this time. You continue to drive around the city, watching for signs of life. It's fun to be able to drive anywhere you want on the empty streets, but at the same time, you doubt you'd want to be without other people for very long. As these thoughts go through your mind, you stop paying attention to where you're going. You find yourself in a part of town you don't recognize. All around you are broken down warehouses, loading docks, and vacant lots. You're lost. A strange object sitting in an empty space near an old cement factory attracts your attention. It is an odd-shaped white thing about the size of your bedroom, perched 10 feet off the ground on spindly metal legs. You stop the car and get out to take a closer look. As you approach the thing, you hear a whooshing sound. What appears to be a man floats down from the object, as if riding a cushion of air. You stop and stare at him as he walks towards you with jerky movements. "What are you doing here, Muon?" he asks in a metallic, evenly measured voice. You take a closer look at him. His eyes are glassy, and his skin does not look real. You realize that he is not a human being, but a robot dressed up to look human. "Muon, you ask?" "No, I am not a Muon. You are a Muon," the metallic voice answers. "Muon, an inhabitant of the planet Mu. You have 10 seconds to answer the question, or I will terminate you. 10, 9, 8. Here we are. Stop in the car, and there's a spaceship or something. It's an odd-shaped white thing. There's a lot of those around New Jersey. All right. "I don't know what I'm doing here," you say quickly. "I just woke up and everyone was gone." Imperial Order number 38476 dictates that all inhabitants of the planet Mu are to be removed, the robot says. Please comply. But this is the planet Earth. Aren't you making a mistake? The mistake is yours, Muon. Earth is a fictitious planet in the realm of unreality. You, however, are an inhabitant of the planet Mu, located in the outer fringe of the fourth quadrant of the Great Empire. As a subject of the Empire, you must obey the leaders. Please board the interstellar transporter for removal. You have 10 seconds to comply, or I will terminate you. 10, 9, 8, 7. Please don't, you exclaim. I am an artificial intelligence, the imitation human says. Do not try to appeal to my emotions. I do not have any. 7 seconds to termination. 6, 5. Yeah, this is why we should always just stay in the mansion. Moo. The Realm of Unreality. The Realm of Unreality, that was their debut album. Okay. If you decide to board the interstellar transporter, turn to page 115. If you make a dash for your car, turn to page 88. So we do want to make a dash for the car? Or do you want to move on to the Muon transporter? Car? Dash for the car? Okay, let's make a break for the car. Muon. The artificial intelligence keeps counting down the seconds. 4, 3. You reach the car door just as the artificial intelligence says 2, 1. You put the key in the ignition. The artificial intelligence mechanically raises its finger and points it at you. A blinding photon beam issues from it and reduces you and your car to ashes. The end. Isn't a photon beam basically a light? Like, that's photons. The light's made of photons. So it's just a light beam. Okay. Yeah, that is pretty scary. Here we are. That's probably, we see, like, in the rear view mirror, we see a light coming towards us. Too late. Muon. Alright. That was a bad ending. Yeah, you were right. Stephanie, we should have just stayed at the mansion. Alright, I guess we won't make a dash for the car. You quickly move to the interstellar transporter as the artificial intelligence continues counting down. Something opens above you, and you are sucked up into the spaceship with a whoosh of air. The artificial intelligence joins you after a moment, and the doors of the transporter close. The artificial intelligence sets the controls of the transporter. As it accelerates into hyperwarp overdrive, you think that surely with your real intelligence, you will be able to outwit this artificial intelligence and get back home. But how? Perhaps you could use illogic and nonsense to confuse it. What is this, like an old Star Trek original series episode? On the other hand, maybe there is some way you could sneak up behind it and turn it off. It's like Data has like an off switch in his back. Maybe this artificial intelligence has that. If you start speaking nonsense to the artificial intelligence, turn to page 82. If you look for a chance to sneak up on it, turn to page 87. Yeah, hyperwarp overdrive. Prepare for ludicrous speed. Do we want to try to sneak? Yeah, it sounds legit. Alright, do we want to speak nonsense? I bet nonsense. Yeah, that probably is the best idea. Like, how are we going to sneak up behind this thing? I don't see how. I mean, maybe. Maybe it's like really clumsy and slow. Nonsense. Okay, let's do it. Two plus 2 equals 22, you say to the artificial intelligence. Incorrect, Muon, it responds. 2 plus 2. Truth is false, you interrupt. Peace is war. Up is down. Error, error. Please rephrase your statement. The artificial intelligence sounds flustered. You pick up the pace, reciting. 'Twas brillig, and the slithly toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves. Language unknown, says the artificial intelligence. Danger, danger. Danger, Will Robinson. You make up your own nonsense. Incidental transformation employs capillary incense. Elephant tides ride side by side. Smile, Snuffbox. Circuit overload, the artificial intelligence cries. It reaches for the warning button, but you knock its hand away. It spins around, its limbs flap wildly, sparks fly, and then it collapses on the floor. You are now in control of an interstellar transporter in hyperwarp overdrive in the depths of space. Warning, warning, error. And there's the artificial intelligence going down for the count. Turn to page 79. You sit down for a moment and review your situation. You woke up this morning to find that everybody was gone. The artificial intelligence said the inhabitants of the planet had been removed, and that you weren't on Earth at all, but a planet called Mu. It said Earth was a fictitious planet in something called the realm of unreality. It occurs to you that you may want to alter the transporter's current course. On the other hand, maybe you should send out a distress signal and hope a friendly ship will answer. If you want to send a distress signal, turn to page 91. If you decide to try to navigate the transporter yourself, turn to page 69. I mean, it is kind of just like poetry. Oh, that was Lewis Carroll. That did sound familiar. It's like I feel like I've read some of this before. Read this somewhere? You think computers would like it because, like, didn't Lewis Carroll also do like logic puzzles and things like that, or like mathematical puzzles? Yeah, it's like just poetry. It reminds me of like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where they had the Vogon poetry. But that was more like it was the alien reciting the poetry that was driving the people crazy. Transporter, distress signal. Anyone else think we should do the distress signal? Oh, true. Alice in Wonderland was anti-logic, yeah. Would break anyone's brain. I guess we'll do this distress signal. You look up the intergalactic distress signal and broadcast it over the transporter's radio. At first, there's no response, but after a few hours, you notice out of the porthole 2 silvery specks gaining on you. You wait and watch as they cover the vast distance of space separating you. As the spaceships draw closer, you're not sure you like the look of them. The monitor on the transporter warns. 2 armed starships approaching. Then it asks, "Activate automatic defense system?" You don't want to start a fight, especially if the starships can help you. But perhaps you should activate the defense system as a precaution. If you activate the automatic defense system, turn to page 104. If you wait for communication from the starships, turn to page 110. So should we wait for a communication from the starships, or should we activate the defense system? Communications. That says communications. Yeah, maybe we should do communications. Like, why would we send out a distress signal, have ships show up, just so we could then defend ourselves against them? Yeah, communications. Okay. We will do communication. We will wait for communication. Oh, Stephanie did say should do the defense system. Well, we'll see what happens. We might regret doing the communications. Oh, the starships continue to approach, and the captain of one of them speaks to you over the communicator. This is Captain Smirk of the Imperial Patrol. Distress signal received. We have identified you as Imperial Transport Number 472, under the control of Artificial Intelligence Unit 984651A. Prepare to be boarded. You wait nervously as a pod is sent out from the starship. You open the airlock and let in an Imperial officer. He takes one look at you and the inoperative artificial intelligence on the floor and knocks you out with a blast from his particle weapon. When you come to, you're in a prison cell on the starship. The captain enters and says sharply, "What were you doing on the transporter?" "I was just trying to get back to Earth. Get back to planet Earth," you say. He laughs mockingly. "So, you're one of those lunatics who believe in planet Earth, eh? Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. The Imperial judge will find you either insane or guilty of stealing an interstellar transporter. Either way, the penalty is death." The end. Alright, I guess I should activate the automatic defense system then. It just seemed like we send a distress signal, people show up, and then we want to defend ourselves against the people that we asked to show up. But okay, dead forever. Yeah, we had some really good endings in the beginning, and now it's like been like a lot of bad endings. Automatic defense system activated, the monitor says. Seconds later, a voice comes over the communicator. "This is Captain Smirk of the Imperial Patrol. Distress signal received. We have identified you as Imperial Transport Number 472, under the control of Artificial Intelligence Unit Number 984651A. State the nature of your problem." You nervously reply, I changed my mind. Everything's all right." There is silence, followed by, "Prepare to be boarded." A pod emerges from one of the starships. A computer flashes red. "Repel boarding attempt," and a streak of white annihilates the pod. There's a rapid exchange of beams between your ship and the starships. Then the starships explode in a spectacular burst of white. Meanwhile, legends have been flashing across the computer screen. Deflect beam, and evasive maneuver, and counterattack. Now the screen reads simply, "Attack repelled. Minor damage. Automatic defense system deactivated." But a few seconds later it tells you, "Cruisers approaching," and again asks, "Activate automatic defense system?" Before you answer, a voice comes over the communicator. "This is Rebel Cruiser. Good show. Who's in there, by the way? Who's in there, anyway?" "It's just me," you reply. "Please take this thing off my hands." Turn to page 116. A pod leaves the cruiser, and soon you are joined in the transporter by two rebels. They slap you on the back and congratulate you on your victory over the Imperial starships. "We'll take you back to our planetary outpost. You'll get a hero's welcome. You've captured a transporter, and will be able to learn a lot from it. We'll overthrow this corrupt empire yet." You decide it's not such a bad thing to be doing, at least until you can figure out how to get back to Earth. The end. Alright, well that ended pretty well. I think we'll stop here. Stop it on a good ending. This seems very much like a Star Wars type thing, where we have the Imperial Empire and then the rebels, so I guess we should always know that we should side with the rebels. Yeah, we didn't get killed, Stephanie. That's cool. Not dead this time. Alright. Well, it seems like there was a lot more to this book, and a lot of other stuff that we just didn't even get to. I never go back and reread these like I always say I will, but maybe one of these days. Yeah, we didn't find our parents. We never encountered any KGB agents. Well, there's several things that we never even figured out. We didn't get back to Earth this time, so yeah, this book was kind of like all over the place, which can be a lot of fun sometimes when it's like constantly changing or constantly traveling from one place to another. So that can be a lot of fun. All right, well, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this. I sure did. It was a fun adventure. Didn't really find any crazy racism, so that's cool. Oh, you're welcome, Sue. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun, Beth. Okay, well, I guess I'll stop here, and I will be back next Tuesday, and we will be reading another Choose Your Own Adventure book. So great. So hope you all had fun, enjoyed it, and yeah, no, racism is the best ending. Yeah, maybe if I kept reading, maybe there would have been some racism somewhere. Sure, there's got to be something in this book somewhere. You know, it's you always find it somewhere. All right, yeah, you're welcome, guys. All right, well, yep. See you all later. Take care.